It could be any bar in the trendy inner Melbourne suburb of Brunswick, except for one big difference.
So this is Brunswick Aces. We're Australia's first non-alcoholic distillery and first non-alcoholic bar. We've created this space to demonstrate how wonderful non-alcoholic drinks can be.
From beer and wine to cocktails, everything on the menu is alcohol-free. Well, almost everything.
If you're nice to the bar staff, you can get yourself a gin and tonic.
The venture is the brainchild of a group of neighbours who built a distillery to make their own gin. But their regular cocktail nights hit a snag.
As soon as one of our team got pregnant and someone started running marathons very seriously, they completely felt that they were missing out. We decided to make a non-alcoholic version of the same drinks, and then they felt welcome, and suddenly we realised we were onto something.
What began as a fun experiment soon morphed into a serious business idea.
If I compare the current situation to when we started, and it was, laughed out of every bar and restaurant, the thought of a non-alcoholic option, and now every single one of those venues has at least one non-alcoholic option, you can see the trend, and it's only growing stronger and stronger.
A hard-earned thirst needs a big cold beer. You sure got a thirst.
Australia has long been considered a nation of heavy drinkers. But research shows that could be changing. Almost 1 in 4 young people in their 20s are now choosing not to drink, and alcohol consumption rates nationally have hit a 50-year low as more people become sober curious.
And sober curiosity is a term that means to be mindful about drinking and to be curious about being sober. So rather than taking on old habits and routines, is actually mindfully thinking about why we're drinking and what we're getting out of it.
The trend led by young people is unfolding globally, but Dr. Amy Penne says researchers are still trying to pin down what's driving it.
I think alcohol's cultural cachet has diminished, and partly I think that's in response to young people rebelling against their parents' generations. But I think there's something bigger going on in terms of young people just having less time to fit alcohol in. When we talk to young people, they're really worried about the future. They're worried about their health, and they're worried about success in work. And all of these things mean alcohol has become a distraction.
As more people look to moderate their drinking or give up entirely, a new market has emerged for low and no alcohol drinks. Gold Coast-based Sober was believed to be the country's first non-alcoholic craft beer company when it launched in 2017.
Quite often people will say to us the Gold Coast seems like the craziest place in Australia to try and have developed a non-alcoholic beverage business. But I like a challenge, so...
Gamilaroi man Clinton Schultz and wife Lozen run the Indigenous-owned company.
A couple of these in the fridge.
They came up with the idea after Clinton, a psychologist and chef, stopped drinking 8 years ago.
I personally stopped drinking because I wanted my children to have the opportunity to see something different to what I saw and experienced as normal Australian culture. I also love beer. Just because I chose to stop drinking didn't mean I didn't feel I should have to miss out on having the flavours that I enjoy.
Their beers are made with native ingredients like finger lime, lemon aspen and bush plum. 5 years ago, the duo was selling tinnies from their food truck. Now their beers are stocked nationwide, and they're about to open what's believed to be Australia's first dedicated alcohol-free brewery.
So I guess what we've seen the greatest change in is the acceptance from retailers. They've finally realised and caught up to the fact that there is a market. And so now everybody sort of has wanted to jump into this space.
As the alcohol industry adapts to the changing market, the long-term impact on public health remains to be seen, but there are promising signs.
Well, essentially we know from prior research that heavy drinking during adolescence predicts later alcohol dependence or heavy drinking in later adulthood. So we can only assume that drinking less when you're young is going to have beneficial health outcomes.
In the meantime, more people are likely to be waking up with a clear head this summer.
They can have just as much fun, be just as social, maintain the same relationships as they always had, and get more time back in their life because they're not wasting it drinking or being hungover.